Greetings and welcome. As you can see, I'm in Corning, New York, 4 hours away from New York City in the state of New York. And this is Corning. Now you're thinking, yeah, this must be this very familiar Corning. ये वही जगह है. This is where Corning Gorilla Glass and everything else to do with Corning is headquartered. And I'm here for a very, very special reason, but that of course I will reveal in a future show. Lots happening out here with Corning, big things happening, and we'll bring all of that to you. But today on the show, we're going to take off with Samsung and the two foldable phones, the Flip 4 and the Fold 4. Now, the interesting thing is that we're not doing just one of those unboxings and quick review. We've spent a lot of time. I personally have used both these phones as my main phones for quite a while. And we're bringing you now the reason why I believe finally that folding phones are ready for prime time. The problem with folding phones till now has been that it's great technology, everybody wants it, but it's kind of experimental, right? You're going to spend an extraordinary amount of money and not be very sure what that experience is going to be. With the 4th generation of these foldable phones, Samsung has perfected it. This is brilliant stuff. This is brilliant technology and it's ready for prime time. That, and of course we'll move on to a very famous Qualcomm segment where we've been talking about smartphones and how smartphones have dramatically changed categories and touched lives that were untouched by technology before. Today we'll talk about a very important category, and that is education. People that could never have got education today because of smartphones and the technology, the heart and the brain that lies within it, are now really taking things forward. A brilliant segment, that and a whole lot more on Cell Guru with me, Rajiv Makhni. I know you wait for it every alternate week. This has become a massively in-demand segment. But today what I'm going to take you through, and we've been talking about how Qualcomm, the heart and brain of a phone, how smartphones have completely changed lives around, how they've affected every single thing, and people that were untouched by technology have finally got the benefits of technology only because of a single device, the smartphone, and like I said, the heart and brain inside. Today we're going to talk about the technology that has actually affected education for those people that could never ever have dreamt of education in their lives. See, even they're celebrating with some great music out here. So let's take a look at our Qualcomm segment coming right up. Now, one of the finest innovations of technology is no doubt the smartphone. It's not only made us better connected to one another, it's literally brought the world into our hands. Now, as per a study, India will have 1 billion smartphone users by just 2026. With the rise of smartphones, it's penetrating nearly every field, from healthcare to cinema, from food to sports. Now, another rising area where smartphones are slowly making a foray is education. And how? Especially since the COVID pandemic, online education has seen a massive boom. In the time of digital and online education, books are slowly being replaced with all the materials being available online. E-learning and ed-tech are what is becoming the need of the hour. With all of this content now available at the palm of your hands, and students can refer to the material at any given time, with the advancement of technology, learning and teaching has become a lot more fun and visual with the help of videos, audio and images. Makeshala is an NGO that has designed an app for its teachers and students to make education more interesting. Now, it focuses on logical thinking and is solution-oriented rather than just being rote learning. The Makeshala Teach Kits contextualize world-class pedagogic practices into everyday classroom learning with the use of images, videos, activities, and strategies. This helps convert the classroom into an active learning space. Today we're going to meet Jyoti, founder of Makeshala Trust, to know more about how they started this initiative and how smartphones are helping capture the interest of the students and teachers alike.
The pandemic has shown how technology in education has become a game changer today. Far away from the hustle and bustle of the city, Jyoti, an educator who is the brain behind Makeshala app, is travelling to GLPS Narayanpura, a government school about 15 kilometers from the heart of the city. Her efforts to transform the government education system has given birth to the Makeshala app.
We have found a solution to sort of marry tech and ed in a way that tech actually shines on ed and lifts it to another height. In how many ways has a smartphone does this? It's pliant, it's programmable, it sort of is, it almost is like a fairy sitting on your shoulder. It's mobile, it understands what you want it to do and it does it.
Moving away from the traditional form of learning that had just teacher-student interaction, about 500 students here in this institution are enjoying learning because it is interactive and fun. Understanding children's needs and setting her sights on producing good quality teachers, Makeshala has been a work in progress for the past 10 years. In fact, Jyoti tells us that this is a pre-pandemic dream.
Creative, interactive, visual, and of course fun. Learning lessons have only got better with smartphones becoming game changers in the field of education. This smartphone enabled Makeshala app ensures that students have fun learning lessons. In fact, the content that we're talking about, it's packed into this particular Makeshala app. It has videos, it has lessons, it also has especially lessons that are designed in a way, either it is state or national syllabus, designed to ensure that students have interactive classroom sessions and also they stay hooked to their classroom learning. What's more important is students say what better way to have fun learning lessons with a smartphone.
A septuagenarian that she is, Ms. Jyoti, rather than spending her autumn years, she chose to make use of her retirement. Jyoti's vision was to change the method of teaching and bring life to classrooms. Her experience as a teacher, imparting knowledge in the field of physics and maths in schools and colleges in India, Africa and the US, has propelled her to come up with an idea that is unique and benefiting nearly 3,000 government schools in Karnataka.
ಈ ಮೇಘಶಾಲಾ ಆ್ಯಪನ್ನು ಬಳಸೋದ್ರಿಂದ ನಾನು ಬರೀ ಪಾಠ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತೀನಿ, ಆದರೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಸಂಬಂಧಪಟ್ಟಂಥ ಪಿಕ್ಚರ್ಸು, ವೀಡಿಯೋಸು ಅಂಥದ್ದೆಲ್ಲ ನಾನು ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಬಾಯಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳೋದಕ್ಕಿಂತ, ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲೈನ್ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಈ ಮೇಘಶಾಲಾ ಆ್ಯಪ್ ಮೂಲಕ ನಾನು ಅದನ್ನು ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ ಇಂಟ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ ತೋರಿಸೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದರೆ ನಾನು ಏನು ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಕಲಿಸ್ತೀನಿ ಅದು ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಮೆಮೊರಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಉಳ್ಕೊಳ್ಳುತ್ತೆ.
Makeshala, when translated, literally means school in the clouds. This smartphone-enabled app provides a cloud computing-based platform. The app is packed with either state or national syllabus. Slides which include images and videos enable students to be up to speed with the syllabus and transform classrooms into vibrant learning spaces. What's unique about Makeshala is that not only does it benefit the school that it is tied up with, but Jyoti and her team are relentlessly building a network of teachers across the country. Makeshala has changed the lives of nearly 20,000 teachers, from Siachen to Kanyakumari, to be able to log on to the platform and begin imparting their lessons.
ಬುಕ್ಕಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿ ಕಲಿತಾ ಇದ್ವಿ. ಇವಾಗ ನಮ್ಮ ಸ್ಮಾರ್ಟ್ ಫೋನ್ ಬಂದಾಗ ನಮ್ಮ ಮಿಸ್ಸು ಪಿಕ್ಚರ್ ತೋರಿಸ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಕಲಿಸ್ತವ್ರೆ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಕಲಿತೀವಿ.
The app is available on the Android platform through Google Play Store. Tech in education, especially the Makeshala app, has helped as many as over 6 lakh students across the length and breadth of the country, with students beaming with confidence.
2021 government data suggests that nearly 31.3 lakh students don't have access to digital devices. Makeshala has ensured that education does not get affected, and so they have handed out smartphones and tablets to nearly 3,000 government schools. They've also ensured an added life to classrooms and also changed the method of teaching as well. Also leveraging to the full potential of teachers and students, with technology being the driving force. In Bengaluru, with Kumar Shrija for NDTV.
Now let's meet Jyoti, the mind behind all of this. Welcome to the show, Jyoti. So Jyoti, my obvious first question is, how did you come up with the idea of an EdTech app?
If I caused a change, or if a group of us got together to cause a change, what system would actually help it reach scale very quickly? Because it was also it was just as obvious that unless it reaches a certain scale, it won't be a success. And I think it was the cell phone system. You know, the cell phone has a way of jumping inhospitable territory from one phone to the other. So I thought, well, in that case, could we use a cell phone type technology to actually spread the word of good education? And starting from there, one brick built onto another brick, and I had a whole lot of really good thinkers who were talking to me all the time, and together we came up with this solution. It works. What can I say? It works.
Thank you, Jyoti. Thank you so much for joining us, and congratulations on all the success. Snapdragon is calling all Cell Guru fans to join their global community called Snapdragon Insiders. This gives you access to the latest scoop on Snapdragon tech, a chance to connect with the experts behind the scenes, premium experiences, exclusive contests, and much, much more. Now look, I am a Snapdragon insider already, and you can become one too by simply following Snapdragon on Twitter or Instagram. I'm giving you their handles right here. Also, give yourself a chance to win a Samsung smartphone by participating in the NDTV Snapdragon contest at ndtv.com/unleash your dreams. Do it now. Let's take a quick break right now on the Cell Guru Show. When we come back, lots more happening. You know, this is what I love, coming to smaller areas. You go to New York City, it's absolutely chock-a-block, the concrete jungle. Yes, it's madness and chaos, but beautiful. But you come here, I mean, did you see that Palace Theatre? It almost seems like we've come back to the 1920s, 1930s, and they've preserved it beautifully. I mean, I'd love to go inside, and maybe we will do that. But at this present moment, that's the past that is still living. We're going to talk about the future, and that is folding phones. Samsung comes up with two phones, the Flip and the Fold, in their fourth generation. And like I said right in the beginning, the important thing now when we talk about technology, which is, you know, the kind of thing which is a folding phone, the big question that comes in is that, is it ready for you? Suppose you have the money, you've been thinking and wanting that phone, but you've been hesitating because you don't know what the experience is going to be like. I mean, is this mature technology? Is it ready for you? Now I can firmly tell you, having spent so many days with both the Flip and the Fold, and I have to tell you that the Flip and the Fold 4 both were my main phones all through this period. I've come to this conclusion that lots of things have changed in this, but it's the maturity that they've brought in. This time when I was using these phones, I did not feel even once that they were too fragile. I should not open it with too much of these things. I mean, with the Flip 2, I love banging that phone down because that's what a flip phone is all about. But it's the maturity. This is ready technology. There's no experimental stuff. There is no first user, oh, you used it and it didn't really work out well. And the screens, the hinges, the processor inside, the cameras now. This is ready technology to take on anything else that is available in the premium market. So here then is our long-term review of both the Fold 4 and the Flip 4.
This cycle of technology is such that dramatic alterations in the very essence of how things work happen only once every few years. Samsung recognizes that, and its 2022 portfolio so far has all been about refining and polishing the hardware to the T. That's the theme we are seeing with the all-new Z Flip 4 and Z Fold 4 as well. Two examples of stellar advances in smartphone technology that might just be the most interesting Android smartphones on the market. But is there enough here to justify an upgrade? Let's take a look. Samsung is playing the quality of life argument with both the Z Flip 4 and the Z Fold 4. In the case of the former, you could put the Z Flip 4 right next to the Z Flip 3 and barely notice any difference at all. Samsung has shaved off a few millimeters in both dimensions, and the phone is ever so slightly more comfortable to hold. but that's about it. You get a 6.7-inch screen on the inside with a toughened up ultra-thin glass rated to 200,000 flips. Yes, the crease is still visible. And on the outside is a 1.9-inch display with Gorilla Glass Victus Plus. The only visual demarcation is that the aluminum side rails have been upgraded from a satin finish to a shiny gloss material. It's much of the same with the Z Fold 4 as well, where the device is 3mm shorter and 2mm wider, but this doesn't really translate to much of a difference unless you keep the phone right next to the Z Fold 3. Ports and buttons are all in the same location, though you'll observe a slightly thinner trim around the outer display. Let's talk about the displays then, since the real reason to buy a foldable is that. Keeping up with the theme, the Samsung Z Flip 4 employs a 6.7-inch 120Hz panel that has peak brightness levels of 1200 nits. That's enough to fight even the blazing summer sun, and color reproduction remains nice and saturated, as is the case with most Samsung phones. The cover display has a much lower resolution but does a perfectly good job with the additional settings and interaction opportunities that Samsung has added in the software. The Z Fold 4's massive 7.6-inch screen is a thing of beauty. If you like tablets and phones but don't want to carry both around, this is quite literally the best of both worlds situation, and you can't go wrong here. The crease is still there and you will feel it while sliding your finger across the surface. But it does disappear the moment you start watching content. What's even better is the under-display camera is barely visible anymore, a marked improvement over the Z Fold 3. All in all, a perfectly premium experience that doesn't really move the needle forward unless needed, exactly how we like it. Moving on to the performance, this is where you start seeing dramatic improvements. Both phones get the upgraded Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen 1 chipset and are better for it. Qualcomm's latest processor pushes the performance envelope and reduces power consumption. Win-win. That translates to flagship-grade everyday use. Gaming, performance testing, media consumption, throw whatever you want at the phones and they'll handle it with ease. The more frugal processor certainly helps with battery life, but the larger 3700 mAh on the Z Flip 4 goes a long way towards giving it all-day usability. It's certainly not a battery jam, but the improvements help a lot. In the case of the Z Fold 4, there are no improvements to the battery capacity, but the efficient processor helps eke out a little more longevity. Unfortunately, charging speeds on both phones still top off at 25 watt. Have the cameras improved at all? Well, they have. The Z Flip 4 gets an improved 12MP rear camera sensor paired up with a 12MP ultra-wide. Meanwhile, the Z Fold 4 takes a bigger leap forward and has the same camera setup as the S22 Plus. This means a 50MP primary camera, 12MP ultra-wide camera, and 10MP 3x telephoto lens. Photo quality is typically Samsung across board with saturated colors and ample details. It's not the absolute best in class, that crown still goes to the S22 Ultra. But the two phones do a reasonable job at holding up their own and buyers will be satisfied. In the case of the Galaxy Z Flip 4, you even get a flex cam feature that lets you do a better job at capturing selfies from the primary camera using the cover display. Overall, it's the little things that make a difference, and the Z Flip 4 and Z Fold 4 duo have enough here to, well, flip the script when it comes to foldables. If you are unconvinced, it takes a few minutes of use to realize the potential, and if you are, the quality of life improvements will certainly make a difference. The Samsung Galaxy Z Flip is priced at 89,999 rupees and the Z Fold 4 is priced starting a whopping 1,54,999 rupees. The two phones are already some of the most unique devices on the market, but Samsung's 2022 improvements ensure that they are also some of the best flagship devices on the market. Rubina Mongia, NDTV.
That then was the Cell Guru Show with me, Rajiv Makni, from here, Corning in New York. Do remember, I've already teased it. The show that I'm going to be doing from Corning and bringing to you will absolutely blow your mind. That is a promise. I'll see you soon back in India.